Bye. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Anita Fowler, and I am so excited to be here with Mr. Jim Felder and Miss Obetta Glover. I reached all the way down to South Carolina, and I am so excited to have the state that matters, where the biggest race in the country is going on besides the presidential race right now. And
Right.
I know, Miss Glover, you are the president of the NAACP for the Columbia branch there in South Carolina. And Mr. Felder, you are like the guru of the elections down there. So please, Ovetta, just tell me about you. Let people know who you are, what you're doing, what big things you're doing tomorrow.
Oh, wow. I am Ovetta Glover, and I am from Columbia, South Carolina, the president of the Columbia NAACP branch. And you asked the question, I gratefully give that answer. And we are doing a big march. It's called Together We Stand, Together We Will Rise, a march on Columbia, South Carolina. The objective was charge the young adults of the branch to come up with an idea on how we can get the message out to vote to their constituents and the younger group of people, hearing it from, I like to say, out mouths of babes. That's biblical. So with that being said, I charged them with that, and they came up with this march. They wanted to do an old school march back in the 60s march, singing the "We Shall Overcome" songs and "Freedom Run" and "Wade in the Water." Yes, those songs that we can relate to.
They're about to have
And
church down there. We about to have church down
So
there.
they
And I'm
want
too far to
do
get
that.
there.
Yeah, hopefully it'll take you to and they're not too tired when they finish walking the march. But when history tells, they marched for miles and miles and miles. But when they got to the destination, they were able to give powerful speakers and powerful messages. And this is what the young adults are expected
I'm
to do
excited.
tomorrow. And I'm so proud of them.
I'm
And we
excited
also
about
have the national also has a kickoff day. The national ACP kickoff day tomorrow, the 24th, all over the United States. 2,200 branches as we have. We'll be doing something tomorrow in recognition of getting out to vote.
So isn't it called Black to Vote? It's
Black
called
to Vote, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
but
good.
That's one of the things of it, yes.
No, I'm excited and glad that you brought in the young people. You know, we hear talk about people excluding them or not inviting them or just not reaching them. And so I am absolutely glad that they are front and center stage tomorrow. I know they're going to have a joyous time. And we do need to make some noise when they talk about getting out the vote. We want to be heard. And so, so Jim, tell me, what's your role in all this?
Well, I've been doing voter registration now for some 50 years, since Lyndon Johnson passed the Civil Rights Act. Okay. Today, I serve as the political action chairman for the Columbia branch NAACP, and I'm wearing two hats. I'm also coordinating the state conference efforts. We have 64 branches in South Carolina, and tomorrow, all of them will be doing some activity in their community. And as Ovetta indicated to you, in Columbia, we turn it over to the young people. So they organize it, they planned it. So there'll be a march to the State House, and we'll be on the State House, on the Capitol of the State House, as she said, singing songs and passing out flyers and pens. And we expect to further excite this community. Already in Columbia, we have voted over 50,000 people already.
And compared to 2016, is that more? Because I know the numbers are like no comparison.
No comparison to previous elections, but already 50,000. We still have 10 days to go. And we have 6 locations where people are able to go and cast their ballot. So they're taking advantage of the early voting. So we don't know what's going to happen on election day. It might rain, whatever. But we're getting them out now. Yes. So we have 1,350,000 Black registered voters in South Carolina. You hear me?
1 million.
And
Say it
Jamie
again.
Harrison,
Yeah.
say again?
Say it
Yes,
again.
1,300,000 1,300,000 registered Black voters or African American voters in South Carolina. And they are excited about this election. Jamie Harrison's got them just coming out of the woodwork. So you're going to be surprised on election night. Okay?
Well, I think some other people are gonna be surprised and shocked. They're already surprised and shocked. They can't believe what they're seeing, right? But
Exactly.
what the old African proverbs say, you're when you see it, you will believe it, you know.
There you are. There you are. There you are.
Yes, so most people say, I believe it when I see it. And they say, no, when you see it, you believe it. That's kind of where we are right now. And so
Yes.
I'm excited for what you're doing down there. And I just thought, how could I help? How could I use my platform? Listen, I don't have a whole lot of money in the bank, and I don't have 10,000 followers. But let me just tell you, I got some committed followers, and I
Right.
just believe where 2 or 3 are gathered, God is definitely in the midst of it, and we have to be. As well as servant leaders, we have to be advocacies, you know. So the two kind of really go hand in hand, you know.
I do. I
Um,
do.
I say some people prefer to protest, some people prefer to be the prayer warrior, but I believe that there's also those who has to be the policy makers, you know what I mean? So
Yes.
we all have a role. So you have been doing this for 50 years, and how long have you been doing this, Ovetta?
Oh, Vita says, well, I grew up under leaders like Jim Felder, my father. My grandfather was the first president for the conference, the state conference, NAACP. So you knew how my life was. I couldn't have it. I couldn't get out of it, really. So I think I'm carrying on right now. I ran from it for a while, but I can't run anymore. And so that what led me to run for the president of the NAACP. I didn't think I had a choice, really. So with that
She did
being
not.
said, and I
It's in her DNA.
It's
It's
in her
in her
DNA.
DNA.
That's right. Well, y'all seem to be a great team. Y'all, I can imagine that y'all are just having phone calls in the middle of the night, early in the morning, late at night, making things happen down there, Jim.
Yes. All hours of night they
yeah,
call
we
because
really
of
are
the money.
trying.
All hours of night. But the other thing that Ovita is doing real well is working with the young people. She has been able to bring in more young people into the branch than any president in recent years. And that's been a real good thing. Um, it doesn't hurt the fact that she works on a college campus. They just gravitate to her and they are ready to go. So we are looking for a super turnout. We're going to do 80% turnout in South Carolina. If we
What
do
time you
that,
got to start tomorrow?
the march starts at 10 in the morning, right,
We
Avita?
started 10.
10. And then we march to the State
Right,
House and we'll be there
right.
until we get
Started
tired.
at 10.
So wait, where do you start at tomorrow at 10 o'clock?
It's about a half mile from the State
Okay,
House.
we're starting. Yeah.
Say it
And to
again.
name the street, it would to name the streets. We will begin at the corner of Sumter and Richland Street, and then we will march south to the state capitol grounds. And on the state capitol grounds, we should get there no later than 11 o'clock. The walk is not that long. We're going to take most of the time singing and dancing, really. I don't know about you, Jim, but I might have to shake an arm or something every now and again to keep it alive.
Oh, I get it.
But
I
we
wish there was,
Also on the State House ground, Dr. Anita,
yeah.
is an African American monument. We're the only state in the nation that has an African American monument on the State House grounds. And the
Okay.
monument depicts the time that we came into South Carolina through Charleston, right up through the time that we elected our first state Supreme Court justice. So it's quite a monument, and it's there on the State House grounds. And whenever you're this way, visit it. You'll be
I'm thrilled.
surprised.
Well, I've never been down that far. I'm ashamed to say my roots kind of stopped and my traveling kind of stopped at Portsmouth, Virginia, or Lynchburg, Virginia. And I kind of passed through South Carolina, I think. But I really didn't get a chance to spend time. I hear nothing but great things about it. And every time I hear South Carolina and North Carolina, my ears just perk up because I know it's an area that I know very little about. But I'm taking notes here. So if y'all see me looking down, it's because I'm trying to take some notes here. So about the monument and the youth and the time and where the starting location is. So I can again put it on here, but I can go back and capture it on a replay. I have a question here from Loris Manyweather. She said, how many people voted in 2016? And I guess you just want to look at the comparison between this year and last year, if you know it.
Yes, in 2016, we only had 56% turnout. 2008, when Obama ran, we had 76%, which was the highest in the history of the state turnout, both black or white. This year, we expect to exceed that 76, but we're shooting for at least 80% turnout. And if we do that, you'll see some real celebrating in South Carolina.
Oh my goodness. I might have to come down there. I might have to go ahead somehow figure out the way to celebrate. I know. Go ahead, Ovetta.
I said I was going to invite you down because that's what's going on, girl. And I said I was going to invite you down because that's exactly what's going to happen. That 80% plus, and we're going to be dancing in the street. Believe that. And also, I want you to encourage those folks there where you are and around the United States that you have connections to. Everybody has somebody kin in South Carolina or a friend in South Carolina. So reach out to them and say, hey, make sure that you go early vote. That way the message is getting around across everywhere in South Carolina. If you were to call me my cousin, I'm gonna call you cousin Arnita and say, make sure you go to vote. That's gonna you know what I mean? How you know about voting in South Carolina is probably what I anyway. That will encourage the next person to get out and vote too. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. We take a lot for granted that everybody is thinking like we're thinking. Everybody's motivated like we're motivated. But I tell you, we've been in this push, and I know people across this country have been in this push for voting for 3.5 years. Let's just say that, right?
Yeah.
Waiting for this thing to come. And now more so in the last 12 months, just campaigning to get to this point. And we're at a point now where we just got to push that much harder, and we got to go that much farther, and we got to pray that much more faithfully, because we can't get to this point and get tired. We can't get here and give up. And so I always say, I'm not going to stop when I'm tired. I'll just stop when we're done. And
I like that.
And so
if I may say, in dealing with the youth that I deal with on a regular, I love it. We have been in conversation and my vote won't count and all of this, that, and the other. So we've got to give them an answer. We have to have an answer for that statement. Oh, really? Your vote won't count? Remember, you have a mother. Remember, you have a grandfather. Remember, you have grandmother, aunt, uncle. You're going to have a baby one day. That's where your vote matters. And it really does, because when we think about Medicare, when we think about all of the health issues we are going through at this point, when we think about streets being paved and they hadn't been paved, it's because we are not going out to vote. And we can march and protest all we want. That's a point of being serious. But the point is you've got to be heard, and you can't be heard unless it's through your legislators. So that's where we need to charge our legislators. Okay, you see us. Now hear us. We want you to hear what we are saying, not look how we look, not look at how we look. Hear what we are saying. So that's a very important statement to make to those youth. And
the way they're showing up, like, don't just show up now, but always show up. Create an event that they're showing up all year round. Like when we finish November the 3rd, when we win on November the 3rd, it may take a couple of extra days to announce the winner, but we already know that based on what we see, that when we win, then we start getting ready for what demands we want to put on people, you know? And we start
Yes.
telling them what it is as far as legislation goes, because we can't wait for them to ask us. We have to be able to tell them, you know, tell them what we want. And so youth can already start developing their own list of bills and things they would like to have changed and done, you know?
You're absolutely right. And we have to keep spreading the same message, keep spreading the same message all the time that until it soaks in with them.
Well, I think Lois Manyweather put it here. She said, don't believe the polls. I'm just saying, don't depend on the polls, right? Every
Yeah.
vote counts. And so, Ovetta, you talked about being able to answer the question where people said their vote don't count. And so, what I've been doing a deep dive into, maybe I get a chance to share them over the weekend, is the opportunity, the elections or bills that pass with one or few votes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
We don't realize how powerful our vote is. And so most people here talk about Bush and Gore's race,
Yes.
how that went to court and how it was decided, what, by 104 votes, ultimately to 103, something like that. One vote different. But then you have the one here in Virginia in 2017 where one vote ended up being approved as good, which made it a tie. So they ended up picking the winner by pulling the name out of a bowl. So I'm just, and when we go back in history, we look at those historical legislation and see just how few votes it took for it to
Mm-hmm.
pass. And to me, that's just another way of conveying to them, to the young people, and to listen. It ain't just the young people. Let me say that. I've been seeing some people on TV saying they're still undecided. I'm trying to figure out this undecided vote here. Uh, we got 220,000 dead. And I'm like Joe Biden. Anybody who where 222,000 people can die on your watch, why are you even running for president? So I'm
Yeah.
just kind of right there with him. You talk about saving the economy, but you haven't said one thing about saving lives. You want to
Exactly.
get a vaccine, but never do you continue that to say, I want to save lives. You want to get a vaccine to push the economy. And they both go hand in hand. So, those are kind of conversations that I believe we really have to have and be edgy about it.
Yes. You're right on the mark. You're
So
right on the mark. Yes.
I,
Yes.
I, I again, I just want to applaud you for the work you do. And when I think about the work that you guys are doing, there's no way I can just sit here and watch from a distance. I was like driving today, and God just dropped this in my spirit. I said, what can I do? How can I help? Who can I reach? And I just said, oh, wait a minute. A friend of mine that's going down, Jamie Harris requested him to come from New York to help him with his campaign in the next 11 days. And he posted it on social media. I said, well, let me call him and let him announce his own candidacy tomorrow for city council in New York. And one thing led to another. And I promise you, I left home at about, and I'm telling this story because I just want you to know this is how we're going to win the race. When God starts moving us, we have to start listening.
Mm-hmm.
So that we could share platforms. And I've learned more about Carolina in these past, 20-something minutes, Jim, than I've learned in any school book. Okay.
Okay.
So we have to start telling these stories. But Obed, I want you to talk about a concern you have when it comes to our seasoned saints.
Correct. And I always this concern often because it is a very deep concern of mine because I'm headed in the direction and some of us are already there. And if my mind is right, the next time it takes to vote as a seasoned person, I want to be able to do that. But if I'm not physically able to do that, and maybe in a assisted living area or something like that, I want to make sure, and this is going to be a task for myself if I don't have anybody else to do it, that those people are able to vote. And we need to make it comfortable enough for them to want to vote. I know that they can do absentee, but everybody is not literate. Okay, not maybe I'm using the wrong word. Everybody can't do it via virtual, or everybody can't use a computer, everybody can't use a telephone, everybody doesn't have a phone. And I prefer to go vote if I'm able and in the right mind, or even if I have to push a wheelchair, I want to be able to go do that. And so we've got to make it possible for those people to do that. Even the blind, even
Yes,
the
yes,
deaf, even
yes.
the muted, those people to be talked to as well. And I don't want to say they're being overlooked. They're not being grabbed at like they should be grabbed at. Like we're
Right,
walking and talking on all of this. We need to have platforms for them too to hear what's going on. I'm quite sure that Jim can enlighten us a little more on how that's being done or even being done. But I'm
What
always
we
speaking about it. So
couple of things, Anita. In South Carolina, even the incarcerated people can vote absentee ballot. As long as they have not been to trial yet and have been convicted, they can cast absentee ballots from the jail. The other thing is transportation. This coming week, one of our fraternities, my fraternity to be exact, Omega Psi Phi, is providing a fleet of vans to take people to the polls starting Monday. They will be we have a hotline to call in for a ride. So we're not overlooking any method of getting people out to vote. And if we do that, we'll reach that 80%. And that's our goal.
So you guys have partnered with the Divine Nine and a couple of other
That's correct.
organizations.
That is correct. That is
That's what
divine.
it
Yes,
sounds like
indeed.
you're doing it, that you've connected yourself with some of those already existing organizations who's fully established, the
Yep.
Divine Nine, the links, and I'm sure there's more out there that you have connected to.
Many more organizations that I have not heard of are now calling, want to be a part of it. There's excitement I haven't seen in a long, long time about this upcoming election. Yes.
I'm taking notes here because I want to be able to post what you said about individuals who are incarcerated can
Yes.
still vote as long as they have not been to trial or been convicted. Am I right?
That is correct. People who can't make bail, they can't get out of jail, but they still have not been convicted, they have a right to cast an absentee ballot. Yes.
I mean, you are a treasure chest right now, Jim. We're gonna have to keep talking. I don't know if you guys have anything, something you can send me, or we can just do this again. And I'm saying South Carolina because I know how long has South Carolina been? Has South Carolina always been a red state?
No, it is not. This happened, it started happening back in the 80s. Prior to that, it was pretty much a blue state, you might say. But what happened, some of the older heads got angry about our increased involvement in the political system, and they started jumping party. It started with Strom Thurmond years ago when he switched from the Democrats to the Republican Party. That's when this red started penetrating South Carolina. Yeah.
Okay. So
So
can we turn this around, Jim?
yes, we can. Yes, we can, because the numbers are on our side, but the turnout is what we have to do. We represent a third of all registered voters in South Carolina. Now, how can you leave a third of the people out? And that's what has been happening. But we have to do more in terms of get out the vote. So tomorrow's activity is to stir people, to stir the pot, and to make noise, get attention, so that people will go out to vote. But I can tell you, I mean, the desire is running high here, in spite of the pandemics and all of that. I
So
haven't
people
seen
want
this kind of
change.
excitement.
Yeah, you've
Yeah,
been there 50 years and you haven't seen this kind of excitement. So you're witnessing a change happening right now.
absolutely.
And so we should
Absolutely.
shooting for 80% to vote. And our call to action for tomorrow is for everybody to get involved at some level tomorrow. I
Correct.
and they can meet you guys at 10 o'clock at the state capitol if they can't do anything else, just to get signed up for the next days of events.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
And we'll have all kind of T-shirts and all
and,
kind of materials to hand out as well. Oviedo?
and also to all of you, tomorrow we still will be registering people to vote. Though that they cannot vote in the upcoming election, we still have to concentrate on getting people registered. because we may have missed some for this election, and we don't ever want to miss another. One another. Once you get them, I don't know whether Virginia has theirs yet, but we have photo registration cards, and everybody here doesn't know that. So we're trying to do several things all in one thing tomorrow, and that's to encourage those that are registered and able to vote on November 3rd, that they do that, and to encourage those that haven't registered yet to get registered so they can take a part in local elections, so they can take part in the next general election as well. So it's very important to do so.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, Even though you may not be able to make this, and that, I had never thought about that because I was so focused on people just voting early, knowing that November the 3rd is really the last day to vote, and that we really should vote early. But like you said, you can register for the next general primary, which is what, next June down there.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I
Yes.
think that again, um, yeah, somebody need to create another a app or a QR bar or something like they have now for when we all vote, that you can register people to vote on the go, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the young people can jump into that, Ovetta, and figure out that, because you know how tech savvy they are.
Oh yeah.
It's the one that Michelle Obama and them used for when we all vote. So you can just walk around with your phone, and your phone can scan it. Somebody's phone can scan it, and whatever age they are, if they're going to be 18, they can register now. So I would have somebody to create one of those and just to mimic what they have. And at this point, you ain't got to reinvent the wheel. You can just use the one they have while it's still good. You know,
Yeah.
it's not out of date yet. But I would just download that one, look for the QR bar, and let people carry it around with them for this rest of the 11 days, and start registering people for the next primary that's going to happen if they can't register in time for this one, because I know voter registration is pretty much over almost, except for those who can vote on election day as well. There's a few states that still allow that.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I don't know. There are also I was thinking that this is a good time once we get through this election, Jen, that
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you guys are approaching it, but is there a legislative piece where people can stand look at, are constantly looking at the laws that are being made, and the GOP that are still fighting the laws, so that we can keep track? Because it gets confusing, because it's like if they fight a law today and they fight a different law tomorrow. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah, that there is that capability now. You can track what the legislators are doing. You can also get the calendar. You can go online. You can watch them in actual action. So that's already available. We just need to stress it more so people can understand that the state house is their state house. They can go and visit, and lobby, and do all the things that you can do to make new legislation. And that's going to be a part of our voter education effort once this election is over, to get more people coming to the state house to see what they're doing and to push
Okay.
them and pull them. Yes.
Yeah, I know that our first apprehension is in regards to the COVID right now, but
Yeah.
at the same token, I believe that the the, the young kid, unlike you, Ovette, I'm like for the young kids, because we got to hand it off to the next generation. Us baby boomers, we got to be able to just continue to grow new leaders, you know? And that's what I started thinking about when I thought about doing a platform for rethinking leadership post pandemic and post election. From the White House to the church house to the schoolhouse, we need to rethink leadership. You know, nothing is as it was, and so this is an opportunity for us to be really innovative. So when we talk about young people, I'm thinking about them, that they can be able to make some videos. You know how they always get excited about making TikTok and making videos when it came to the
Mhm.
music and the rap session. I
Yeah.
think now, since you got their attention, they can make some that can still feed into next year, you know? So everything tech, when you think about the young kids, think everything tech, you know? They have some of the greatest ideas. And I just think we, like you said, I'm not saying we don't tap into them, but I don't think we really are 100% on a day-to-day basis give them ideas and platform and resources to work from their home, so they can create these videos and be able to just kind of share them around. Even though they can't vote, they can still work like that, you know? and show off their talent. You never know who's watching. You
You
know,
never know.
you
Yes.
never know who's watching. But so, Jem, I don't know. I don't know. I can't get down here. Cousin Ovetta, you're gonna have to keep me posted, okay? So we connected now, okay? We connected. This is
Okay.
we connected, and I just want to be able to see the growth that happens. I want to be able to celebrate with you and be able to witness to the fact that all you got to do is just put in the work and show up every day. Just show up, and God is show up. I just take my faith with me. And I know you. I know the South are faith believers. You know.
Yes, yes, yes.
So listen, we will be doing a live stream tomorrow during the event via Facebook as well.
Okay.
So you may join us like that as well.
Is it going to be on your
Yeah.
page?
It's going to be on the Columbia branch NAACP hashtag 5508 page. Yes.
Okay, I see it.
Columbia branch.
Go ahead.
You see it, Columbia branch NAACP.
Well, we put
There's
that on our advertisement. So when we shared it on our social media, we put that on there. So I'm going to be looking for that tomorrow.
Oh, great,
Thank
great.
you.
It will be.
Thank you.
I'm going to be looking for it, Jim. I'm going to keep my eyes on you guys. I got my eyes on you guys now. I got my eyes on the villagers, the new Democrat crowd villagers in Florida. They used to be all Republican, right? Until 4 years ago, and just one guy just stood up, and he has grown to 500 golf carts, and they rolled to the polls in their golf carts for Democrat to put their vote in for Biden. That was not that case 4 years ago. Okay.
Yes.
So again, I got my eyes on you. I got my eyes on Florida. Who else I got my eyes on here? I'm just watching all the races, and I know you got a couple of races coming up next year. So your job never ends, Jen.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No time to vacation.
But Jim, you got my information on Better Does, and let me know
Yes.
anytime you want to come on here and continue to have a conversation about what's next and what we're doing. Listen, I'm open. There's no first come, first serve. If somebody says, Jen, I'm saying, come on, okay?
All right.
Oh, Mr. Glover is running for Columbia branch president again. Okay.
That's another election we got. And that election is 2 weeks after the general election. We got a hotly contested branch election.
Wait a minute. You talking about this general election? Is after this one?
After this one, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
November the 14th.
November the 14th.
So I'm campaigning.
Say it again.
I said I'm campaigning well.
She's campaigning now, yes.
Well, I tell you what, after the elections, we're gonna regroup and come back here again.
Good. And
then Jim can go ahead and give his announcement speech. He can go out there and just let everybody know how this job is done. For a person who's been in the job 50 years, why change it if it ain't broke, right?
That's broke. Don't fix it. That's
right. It just don't make no sense to me. We keep trying to reinvent the wheel, when we got great right in front of us,
Okay.
Yeah, so and that's something that I try to share with the young adults, the youth that I deal with on a regular. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But I also say change won't change until it's changed. Okay, so that means that you've got to motivate and make some changes in order for something to happen. But history does itself. And we need to grow from the history. That's where the changing comes in. We go back to the history, enhance the history, because it's never going to change until you put that dot behind it and add an AND, and we shall. You see? So that's what I say to it.
Well, listen.
You got to always include the history. You can't forget the history. You got to always include it.
And this is important. I think that young people can even begin to write books and tell the history about their life experience in this time frame, because don't think that all of a sudden our history books are going to reflect this unless we write them, okay?
Amen.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
we got to capture this history while we can so we can create a legacy. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves again just only hearing one side of the narrative. And so I would just encourage our young people to also add a writing piece. Somebody become the historian. Somebody become the photographer, And who knows, in a couple of years, they'll be able to write that book. 4 years go by before you know it. We'll be doing this again in another 4 years,
Yeah, yeah. Arnita,
Yeah.
go to my website, jameslfelder.com, and you'll see the books I've written so far. And it's all about history and history meccas in South Carolina. jameslfelder.com.
Okay, I just wrote it down. I certainly will, and I'll be sharing that across my social medias too. Thank you so much for doing all this heavy lifting that you and Obetta are doing over there. I'm just excited, and I'm going to keep my eyes on you. How can people reach you, Obetta, tomorrow if they want to be able to show up at 10 but haven't registered yet?
They can reach me at 803-256.
Wait. Go ahead.
803-256-8771. 803-256-8771.
And Mr. Jim, should they reach Ovetta or you to help with your campaign?
Well, you can reach me also, 803-261-0167.
Well, I thank you so much. I'm looking forward to the results, to celebrating. I'm going to be in New York through the elections. I need to be where the celebration is going to be loud.
Yeah.
I remember the celebration when Obama won. Man, they were in the street all night long.
Yes.
So I need to be over there to help out. But again, Mr. Jim and Ovetta, if you guys want to come back here, ladies and gentlemen, want to come back here anytime, just send me an email. But you got my phone number too, so I'd rather you call me because I'm not an email person at all unless I'm looking for something. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for making time. I know you were out there doing the work, but thank you for making time. Again, I'm just trying to do my level best to uplift and to shine the light on those who are doing the work in the places where nobody hardly ever gets to talk about it over here, I'm going to share with all.
Arnita?
Yes, ma'am.
Arnita, let me do my commercial. Can I do my commercial now?
You can do whatever you want, Miss Ovita.
I want to say to everyone that your vote counts. The V in vote stands for victory. We cannot have it unless you move your feet or move your chair or however you can get to vote, and go do it early. This is Ovita Glover, your candidate for the Columbia Branch NAACP president, and I approve this message.
Oh, you were working that mess. She didn't need no teleprompter. She didn't need no notes. She said, I got this in my heart. I love you guys. Listen, I ain't even been down south, but I know what it's like when it comes to being a host, from down south. You guys just know how to do it. And I just want to thank you so much again for making time. I'm just a little somebody trying to help everybody. And so again, I just thank God for how he just kind of opened our eyes and connected us today. In an instant, in a moment, he did.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget, Arnita. Please tell your viewers to call their relatives in South Carolina and tell them to go vote. If that will matter and that will help.
I'm making a note right here. I got some church folks I'm thinking about right now. All right. I just
Thank
want to
you.
say thank you
Okay,
so much. We're gonna be in touch again, okay? We got
All
11 more
right.
days. We got 10 days now, so we're in this together.
very good. I appreciate you. Nice
Is that your
meeting
Thank
you
you.
too.
is that your
Okay.
sister, Obita?
I'm sorry,
Is that your sister's
I
message
didn't hear you.
across the screen? Your sister?
That's
Oh, Gail.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's my sister.
Well, she definitely a
That's
fan over
her.
here. All right. Well, thank you so much. Blessings. I'll be praying for you. I'm lifting you up every single day. I want you to know that you're in my heart. Okay, we're connected, cuz.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
cuz.
All right.
All right, bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.